All right. I'm Ashton, and we are going to do the first episode of Restoration Digital Marketing Podcast. Yeah.
I'm Alec. We're hosts.
Cut you off already. Nice. For this first episode, there's a lot of questions that we get asked all the time from our clients. While we help explain how digital marketing works for businesses of all types, and especially mold remediation and restoration businesses. So we're going to kind of rapid fire run through these questions and help answer them.
That sounds great. That sounds fire. Yeah. So let's go through some of the questions we get all the time. Anytime anyone decides whether they're going to work with us or not, the first thing is we need to make sure they understand what it is we actually do. The internet is just a great, dark box of mystery, and a lot of agencies we found kind of love that because, if you don't know how to put a Band-Aid on, you can tell your doctor. A doctor could tell you it costs $2,500, and you just pay it to make the pain go away. So we're not trying to do that. So let's shine some light on some of the biggest misunderstandings that people have when it comes to ranking their business online, and hopefully spread a little goodness, help some people grow. The people we help are all family businesses pretty much. So help them expand kind of helps the whole society and community at large. So, okay, Ashton, let's do it. Let's ask you the first one. First question comes up all the time. We say that we are an SEO agency. Other businesses say that they're an SEO agency. Most of the time when I get on a call with someone new, the first question that they ask me is, what is SEO? What exactly is it?
Yeah, get it all the time. SEO is search engine optimization, which sounds like a bunch of big words. How do you optimize for search engines? But the short summary is it's the practice of optimizing your website so it ranks higher when people search your queries or your terms, the things that they are looking for when they're looking for your business. So your business gets clicks and gets people coming to visit it from the search engines.
Nice. So it's getting their website to the top of the search. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's getting their website, their business to the top of their search rankings for their keywords, for the things that people are searching for when they're actually looking for your business.
Right. So it's not just about ranking when someone types in your business name, but like, for instance, if their house is flooded and they freak out and they go to Google and type in flood repair, are they finding your business, or are they finding someone else down the street, or are they finding someone else? Are you even an option?
Yeah.
Like, can they even give you money?
Yeah. And one big part of SEO is trying to figure out what people are even looking for, right? Do people search flood repair? Do they search for water damage? Do they search for mold?
Yeah. One thing we found is, depending on the market, depending where you are, there's more of certain issues or less. So like if you're in Tuscaloosa, you might have more of a mold problem there, or Portland, Oregon in the Pacific Northwest, it's a lot more of a mold problem, as opposed to, not all areas in the country flood. So it's a different type of water damage. The restoration companies are competing for different traffic. So it's, it's things you already know, but you need to strategize how you put your website together, so that way you're the most lethal you can be in your market. There's no like one size fits all, because even if there was, every single person would do it.
Right.
So makes the game fun.
Totally. So now my first question for you is, why is SEO important for restoration companies specifically?
Yeah, good question. The reason SEO is so important for restoration companies, the biggest reason that I can think of is that when somebody has, especially water damage or fire damage in their house, they are typically racing to get it fixed as fast as possible. Anyone that's worked in restoration for any amount of time knows those types of jobs. If you build a halfway decent relationship with the customer, they're going to go with you because insurance is paying most of the time. So if you don't appear at the top of Google, you're going to miss out on the opportunity to get those jobs. You're leaving a huge revenue source on the table just because you aren't found easily. So that's one of the reasons SEO is really important. It's also just for local businesses in general. You want to be the person people think of when their house floods or they see mold. If your trucks are driving around everywhere, you're getting calls. You're going to get calls from people you've never heard of or have never worked with you before. SEO is creating that same impact digitally. So even
Right.
if they have no idea who to call, they type in, I'm freaking out. There's mold, and like there's mold, there's water damage, there's, I need some help.
Yeah.
They just stumble into you, and the money just kind of it pours in without having to pay for ads or pay for billboards and bus stops or hand out pamphlets, do the door knocking every day. So
Yeah.
it's super important for restoration companies.
Yes, it's a really good point. Someone just posted that, just posted on one of our groups about how they got a job because some septic pipe, something exploded in their basement, and their whole main man cave was just covered in poop. Like, they're not going to take weeks and try to find the perfect bid and perfect price, right? They're going to find someone immediately who can get there as quickly as possible and get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Remarkably unique smell of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, so Ashton, you've been in the business forever. All right, Ashton, you've been in the business forever. So if someone, obviously we want to share information whether someone works with us or not, but what would you say some of the best ways that somebody could get their website to move up on Google?
Yeah, and I actually get this a lot because I love working with my clients, especially the small home family businesses. They're looking at what they can do, how they can contribute to improving their search engine rankings. And I always say, repeatable, regular content posted on your website. So if you want to rank for keywords or things on your website, if you want your website to rank better for the things that you do, you need to have regular content being posted on your website. Now, regular doesn't mean every day, doesn't mean necessarily every week, but at least weekly is ideal. Even once a month is better than never, because that shows Google that there is someone that actually is caring about this website and is trying to contribute to the internet.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's definitely one of the best things that someone can do on a shoestring budget. We could probably spend an hour just talking about things that you could do.
Yeah.
But it certainly helps when you have a local business to just make sure Google knows you're alive, and yeah, just get that content up as much as you can, as consistently as you can.
Yeah. Consistent. Yeah. That's that word.
There's the word.
That's the word. Yeah. Consistent, regular content. Yeah. All right. So, Alec, what is the difference between local SEO and national SEO?
Yeah, good question. So easiest way to think about it is, I mean, the difference between local SEO and national SEO, if you break it down, is just how big the fish are in the pond. Meaning, let's say you played a little bit of college ball. Let's say you played a little bit of college ball and you're trying to do a pickup game. Local SEO would mean you're going to you go to a junior high school and you're just raining on them. National SEO, you don't know who you're going to face. You're going to a private gym. You don't know who's going to show up, how good they are, but you need to beat them in order to get the attention. Your competition is starkly different depending on if you're doing the local SEO, if you're competing in a local market, or you're competing nationally. From a Google perspective, what Google's trying to do, Google's doing their best to mirror what happens off the computers in their search engine. So they want to be recommending the number one restoration company in the area. And so all the things that they're looking for are going to have to do with looking for which websites have the profile of somebody who is the number one restoration contractor in the area. And so if on a local level, the reason why some national franchises struggle to rank in their local market is because the local businesses that really invest in their community and they're writing articles about different neighborhoods, they're sponsoring the kids' soccer team, they're sponsoring the Boy Scout troop, they are supporting the high school and sponsoring the high school sports, those things, Google can see it online, and it's something that a top rated restoration contractor would do. So, so the big difference between like trying to win your local market and winning on a national basis, local, give back as much as you can. The more you give back to your community, the more you contribute to your community. If you can get links back to your site for those contributions, it's going to help. It's going to help you really dominate your area. And so it's really nice. It's like an altruistic aspect of ranking. If you altruistically give, if you give and give without expecting to receive, you tend to get rewarded by the search engines because people just naturally talk about you and the things that you've done, and it's huge. It's huge for the people you're helping, and it can be significant for your business too. So that's probably, those are the big differences when it comes to like ranking in Google in your city versus ranking in Google coast to coast.
Sweet. And I think we covered this a little bit, but why is local SEO so important for restoration businesses?
Yeah, local SEO is important for restoration businesses because if nobody can find you, you're not going to get called. A lot of people say, what's the best place on earth to hide a dead body? The second page of Google, because no one ever goes there. And it's the same thing with local. You know, you're competing with, depending on the city you're in, you could be competing with only 3 or 4 or 10 or 15 different restoration contractors within, let's say, a 35-mile circle. You want to be one of the top 3. That's where the calls come in. That's where the bottom line of your revenue raises up if you're just getting calls naturally. So a storm comes in and a flood happens. If you're ranking in the top 3, your phones should be ringing. Your phones will be ringing. You're booking yourself out. You're sprinting. If you're not in the top 3, you're waiting for the bigger companies to give you those leads and hoping that they can't handle it all, because that's how you make your money. So that's why ranking locally is so important. It gives you the power, against, you know, anyone you're trying to beat in that market.
Sweet.
All right, Ashton, here's a hot topic for you. We've been talking about the websites. We've been talking about the websites quite a bit and ranking the websites. I know there's always, in this industry, everyone's always talking about the newest methods and the newest techniques. One hot one for the restoration industry right now are Google My Business profiles. So, and there's a lot of power in those things, but can you give everyone a definition of what a Google My Business or a Google Business profile is?
Right. Yeah. Google's been changing the names a little bit, but the Google My Business, Google Business Profile it's a free tool. It's kind of like a social media account. You create an account with Google for your business, but it is the results that show up on Google Maps, and it connects pretty directly to your website. So the information you post on there and the information you post on your website, they get connected in Google's eyes. So it's the number one way that you will rank in Google Maps search, because people are searching on Google search results, but sometimes they're on Google Maps searching for a location, how to get to a place. And so they can find you there as well.
Nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think most people don't realize that when they search something, there's like a square at the top of the page that has Google Maps in it with the red pins.
Right.
And that, like, especially on mobile, that's what everybody uses to find anything. So
no one will scroll past that.
Yeah, you gotta have one of those. I've talked to people who they say like between 50 and 70% of their calls come from that. Wow. So, okay. So what benefits do you see, Ashton, from people, at least for a restoration company, creating a Google Business Profile account?
So as you mentioned, like oftentimes when certain queries will have that Google Maps show up at the top, right? And restoration ones are some of those local Google knows that if someone's searching for flood repair or water damage repair, they're looking for local companies. So your Google My Business profiles will be showing up there at the top in that there's top 3 will show up on that first page. And most people will not scroll past that because that's the businesses they're looking for.
Yeah.
So that you skip the rest of the search engine results just to get into that box. But that brings me to a question to you, which is, what is the connection between the Google My Business and your website?
Yeah. Good question. I'd say, the frustrating thing about working with Google is they never actually tell you how anything works. And so the good companies are just the best at creating systems that allow them to A/B test what works and then implement what works across their customers.
Right.
So officially, we don't know. There's a lot of experts that say one thing or another, but from what I've seen, they're cousins. The Google Maps, the Google business profiles, and your website are cousins. If your website is super slow and it doesn't load on mobile, I've seen that have a very negative impact on the ability of your Google Maps profile to rank. And so I'm looking at those people who are on Squarespace or Wix or these easy website builders. They may look good, but if you're in a competitive market, it's not good enough. The mobile speed is not good enough. And everything else you do, it's kind of like trying to bail out a boat when your bucket has a hole in it. You're not getting as much as you can out of everything. So I'd say that there's certainly benefit to having a fast and tight website if you're trying to rank on Google Maps. Continue to do the content. You can post on your Google business profile. That's another great strategy for that to rank. That said, I have seen restoration companies who they don't even have a website. They have a Facebook page, and I've seen that rank on Google Maps in certain instances. So if you're on a shoestring budget and you're trying to figure out what are some things you can do to grow your restoration business, and maybe you don't have a website, something beats nothing 10 days out of the week. So get something up there. Whether you are working on collecting likes on Facebook or building a website on Squarespace or something, just get something up there because it is going to help you rank more on maps. The ones that don't rank tend to be unedited. The business profiles that don't rank on maps are unedited. They don't have a website attached. They're not posting regularly. They barely have any reviews. When you do that, you're an unknown. Google can't feel comfortable recommending your business to people searching, and so they won't. You need them to trust you. So what is the relationship between the two? Same but different.
Sweet. Yeah. Blurry. It's a blurry line, but they are related in some way there.
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet.
I know one thing that comes up a lot, that gets harped on a lot if you've been looking in the digital marketing world about the Google business profiles, is reviews. Reviews, they haven't really been as hot of a topic as they have been the last 6 months. Now they are a very hot topic. How important do you feel reviews are?
Yeah. So reviews have a couple different depths to it. One, if you have 0 reviews, you lose a lot of credibility immediately.
Yeah.
Right. Not even considering the Google aspect of it. But Google also wants to refer companies that have a lot of reviews. But they don't want to only refer the only companies that have 400, the most reviews, right? So you will often find some companies ranking higher with fewer reviews, but they will almost always be at least 10 reviews. So for me, that magic number is at least double digits. But it also depends on your competition. If you're trying to beat out someone who has 500 reviews and you have 10 reviews, it's probably not enough. But
bringing a dagger to a gunfight.
Yeah. And I mean, 1 out of 10 will win those if the content is beefy enough, right? But if everything else is the same, the reviews are a very, very key metric in Google reviews.
Have you noticed any difference between like just blank 5-star reviews versus the people who write novels and photos and non-photos and anything like that?
Yeah. So what I've noticed the most in the customer reviews is, one, when the customer tells more about what it is, not just, hey, Alec did a great job, I highly recommend him. but actually goes a little more detailed into like, hey, Alec got my website from here to there, and now we're doing really good on search engine optimization. And then one of those ones that's highly recommended is to have the business owner reply as quickly as possible with a not just a thanks for the review, but a thank you with details of how the project went and the great things about this partnership or however their business, the system worked. Even going into a little more detail about what was done, it kind of is a little extra update to let Google know about what your business does do and more of the keywords that you are working on.
Yeah. What do you think about photos in reviews?
Now, I have not seen a lot of information on the photos reviews. What do you feel about photos and reviews?
The biggest thing I've noticed is that anytime a customer posts photos in their reviews, that Google almost always chooses that review to show at the top. So
Really?
yeah, I've noticed it over and over again. It seems like I think Google likes the photos. And I also think getting customers to post photos helps with conversion. Like if you appear in the top 3, but you have photos of clean work in the little review of the preview, I think it builds confidence with customers because it shows they get a little more information on yours than they do on anyone else's.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the
Probably
jury's
adds
out.
more interaction. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not sure anyone can say in stone, but in general, the more positive signals you can send to Google, the better. So,
Yeah.
Ashton, do you give any advice to your customers about some of the best ways to collect reviews?
So I personally try to put together a system, some sort of email that always gets sent out at the end of a project, end of a job, or end of a system where we kind of have an automated. Hey, thank you for the job. Thank you for working with us. It was such a pleasure working with you through this, and
Mm,
we'd love to get feedback. We're always improving. If you have any feedback, please let us know. And if you can leave a review of how we did on our website and give the Google review link in that. It's important though to send that as quickly as possible. Some people are
mm,
also a little hesitant to send it if there's like a little thing that's not done. But there is no real harm in sending it a little early, especially if the project's starting to drag on, because those first initial interactions where you're working together and you're getting the major projects of it done, I do recommend sending it earlier than later, and just making sure that it always gets sent.
mm.
Do you have any
Yeah.
tips that you give?
I mean, sending out I think one of the things that people sleep on when it comes to reviews, besides just asking, because a lot of people just don't ask.
Yeah.
Um, that's the biggest thing is just asking. But one of the things that I love to do is I think people sleep on QR codes. Everyone knows how to do them. My grandma knows how to use them. So you can make a QR code that's your review link, and you can put it on. If you use paper invoices, you could put it on there. If you do digital invoices, you could put it on there. You can put your logo inside the QR code, and people can just scan it from their phone and leave a review. They're almost always logged into Google on their phone anyway. I also think QR code stickers is a really easy way to collect more reviews. There are a ton of ways to do it. I think the hardest way to do it is having a follow up with every customer yourself. So sitting down and like strategizing, how are we going to get these reviews? Because
Yeah.
it moves the needle. It moves the needle, and it'll make you money
Yeah.
to get that system in place.
Totally.
So,
And it's all about that system, right? Get a system
yeah,
in place so you don't have to figure it out.
we love them systems.
Yeah. All right. So now back to the website. When you're working on your
Okay.
website, you're giving recommendations for people who have restoration businesses. What kind of content should they be putting on their website?
Yeah, good question. I'd say the easiest way to think of topics for more content is to read what it actually says on your website. So, for instance, let's say on your homepage, you talk about um, almost everybody has a section on their homepage that says essentially reasons to choose me, the reasons why my business is unique and you should hire me.
Right.
Well, If you have a section like that, then it would make sense to link to an article that explains to someone, hey, here's some of the things you should look for when hiring a restoration contractor. Or if you have a section on your homepage that talks about insurance, you can link to an article that explains the insurance process and what they're going to be going through and how you help them on that. If you're talking about water damage, you're not going to talk about every little bit of the process on your homepage. You're just going to say, hey, we're going to help make it so it didn't look like you were flooded. That's all you really want to say on a homepage, but you can have a link from the water damage into, what is the exact process? What are we doing? You can have an article that talks about, what do I do with my pets while you're working on this? Or is there a danger of me getting sick? Like with all this water, if my basement's flooded, should I stay in the house? Like questions that somebody looking for you, that your ideal customer, the questions they're going to have for you, those are all great things for you to write on your website. So if a customer asks you a specific question on the phone, you can write an article explaining that question. Eventually, you'll be able to send articles that you've already written to customers, which always helps make you look really professional. When someone calls you and they ask a question, you can send them an article on it. But if you've never written content for yourself before and all you have is a homepage today or something simple, the basics would be look for the benefits. What are the benefits of blank? What are the downsides, the risks, the financial fallout of blank? How do we do this? Explaining exactly how something is done or why we do something, and then also comparisons. So if there's multiple ways to get a job done and you want to help explain to them, there's this
Right.
way and there's this way. Here's the pros and cons. Those articles tend to do really well and support the mission of your business very well. So that's where I would start with content. Choose your moneymaker service and write a bunch of content for that one first, and then go on to the next one as you go.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, your turn.
Already did that
Baby,
one.
you kind of did answer this one.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt to hit on it again. All right, so we're talking about ranking and improving a website on a shoestring budget.
Yep.
Or I guess if they're working with an agency, I know a lot of agencies love to share a lot of interesting bits of sort of like wisdom. You've been building sites for 20 years and helping folks rank for as long. So how often do you recommend that they update their website?
Yeah. This always comes down to the individual business owner because sometimes they do not have the time or the attention to do any sort of blogging or regular newspaper writing, anything like that, article writing. I always say consistency is the king. Oftentimes, if they can't dedicate time every week, then I say, let's go for monthly and find a system that they can put in place to get a article written once a month. And now, but weekly is by far my highly recommended. You want to get some new information posted on your website, on social, send out a newsletter. And if it's all the same one piece of content, that's where you can use one piece of content to get more value out of it.
Love it. I want to share. Here are some simple ways to get content written if you just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that a lot of people, every time I tell them to write content, just write some content. A lot of people say I'm way too busy, like 12-hour days, 16-hour days is just not going to happen. So here's some very simple ways for you to get it done. The first one, I'm a dad. Everyone loves this one. If you have a teenager, pay them $10. They are literally being trained to write articles about things they don't care about every day. They are masters at writing content. So just make it a chore. Just say, hey, have them spit out some content for you. They will burn through it. They will burn through it. It's an easy way to make money. Another way is find content you like and write it in your own voice. whatever question you're trying to answer, just Google it, grab the top couple search results, and write it in your own voice.
Right.
Make sure you include things from your experience specifically in the neighborhoods where you work, and it'll be that much more useful to everyone. Absolutely do not copy. Google does not like duplicated content. It does not like plagiarized content. You will, you probably will get zero credit. You like Google won't even look at it if it's duplicated content. So don't even go down that path.
Yeah,
But
it used to be a negative, right? You used to actually get penalized for it, but
yeah,
people kept doing it on accident, so they're not penalizing, but they'll totally ignore the page completely.
yeah, you won't be able to get Google to even see it. So
Yeah.
so don't do that. The other thing you could do is, a lot of times if you don't have a teenager, one of your employees does. And I swear, like that is an untapped resource is getting paying a content writer because they are literally trained to create content.
Yep.
That's what they do at school. Um, so that's one idea that's worked very well. There's also if you open up a Google Doc and you wear headphones, you can do a talk to type. So if you're not a very good typer, but you just have a lot of ideas and you can talk to someone, you can just talk to type and get it most of it written and then, check for grammar and post it. And you can
Yeah.
fly through a large article very quickly because if you're an expert, you can if you're an expert, you already talk to homeowners all the time about, what to do if they find mold in their attic. So
Yeah.
talk it into your computer, get it going, and get that article posted.
So one of my clients, I do recommend this, a very simple process similar to that. Every
Yeah.
time after they talk with a client, they've been asking me, Ashton, how can I write more content? Like, what can I do? I just don't have any ideas, don't know what to write about. People are always asking me questions and I have the answers, but I can't remember them. And
Hmm.
so I say every time after you talk to a homeowner and you get a couple questions on your ride back to your office or where after you leave, just pull up your phone, call your assistant and leave a message and just write out or say out all the things that you just talked to them about, answered all their questions about, and then have your assistant turn that into an article. And that's just a way to just like get that content written down before you forget it.
100%. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Here's some good ones. So this is a two-parter. What are backlinks and how do they affect my website search engine optimization?
Okay. Backlinks are votes to your website that authenticate you as a professional. And so the easiest way to think about backlinks is let's say your mom is I'm going to redo that one. Backlinks are votes. They are essentially votes to your business and to your website that say that you're a professional. So let's say someone 10 blocks away from you notices mold. And what they do is they ask, okay, does anybody know a good mold remediation guy? And they ask their neighbors. If they get 10 responses back and 6 of those responses are for your business, you're definitely getting a phone call to give them a quote. If 1 out of the 10 of the recommendations was you, then in the person's head, they might still call you, but you're going to be lower on the list. They're going to go for whoever's the most popular. And so Google's intention is to mirror that phenomena, that offline thing on their search engine. And so a backlink is it's essentially if there's a lot of sites linking to you, you have more authority on that topic if those sites are about you. So for instance, a good example would be ESPN. ESPN is they cover everything. Anyone who writes a sports blog or a sports article or on social media or anyone talking about sports, very often they're going to link to an ESPN article or they're going to link to an ESPN
Right.
show or video, or they're going to embed the video. All of those things are links back to ESPN, which is why ESPN is such a huge, powerful site locally. So that's what a backlink is. It's links from relevant sites that are linking back to your site. They're votes saying that you are legit and you know what you're talking about, and you're a good person that deserves the attention.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how big of an effect do backlinks have on your SEO?
Backlinks are huge. Content is peanut butter and backlinks are jelly. So they go together. Okay. So how important are backlinks for your site and ranking? They're huge. They're massive. If content is peanut butter, then backlinks are jelly. So what you need, especially as a local business, you need folks in a similar industry to link back to you. And when I say similar, I mean they can be similar as in they are mold remediation companies in other parts of the country, or restoration partners that you've met at different trainings. They can link back to you. You can also get folks who just have like a blog, like a home improvement blog where they talked about removing water and mold, and they link back to an article on your website. They can also be local. So they don't have to be in your industry if they're in the same town as you. So your friend across town who owns the barbershop, well, maybe he can link back to you. Or maybe your daughter's school has a jogathon and they're looking for sponsors.
Right.
You sponsor
or the
them.
soccer team. Yeah.
Or the soccer team, or the Boy Scout troop,
Right.
If you get a sponsorship and the sponsorship includes a link back to your website, that is an obvious flag to Google that you are a real part of this community and you're contributing. And that, combined with your reviews and the content on your website, a lot of times getting a couple of those is all you need to appear at the top. You need to give in order to get that attention. So the relationships you have, if you're a professional networker and you have this huge network, get them to link back to you. Find a way to exchange with them. Now, I will give you a warning. I'll give you a warning on this. If let's say you have your friend is a carpenter, and carpenter refers you work, you refer work to them, or a plumber. If you both link to each other, they cancel out. So you can't link one way and then link back the other way and expect it to have a net benefit for both of you, because Google can track that and it'll cancel out. So find other ways. Find other ways to exchange with each other, to get those links with each other, and it will certainly help. Certainly help you to be an expert, be seen as an expert in the eyes of Google.
Right. Yeah, and so that does actually bring up the EAT, right? Google has said they really like when they're comparing businesses together, they're looking for their expertise, their authority, and their trustworthiness, right? So what the content that you write that can build up on those three main things, like trustworthiness is your reviews and the content and the people linking to you, but the authoritativeness is, do other restoration businesses link to you, right? Do you have so much authority in the space that you're getting votes or backlinks from other topics on the other websites on the same topic? Yeah. So those are definitely the things that we're always looking for when we're building that out.
Totally.
All right.
Totes my goats, Ashton.
Yeah. Let's finish this off with a fun one. Can you do SEO yourself, or should you hire a professional?
That is a great question. Can you do SEO yourself, or should you hire a professional? I'm sure if you're running a restoration business, you have the chops. If you're decent on a computer, to learn SEO. Do you have the time to do that? To learn it, there's the toughest thing about doing it yourself is that you have never experimented with it before, and every person ever will tell you that they're an expert and they know the latest and greatest thing, and it'll help you move up. But to comb through that information and do it yourself takes takes tens of hundreds of hours. It's much more, if you need results, if you need a much higher percentage of a much higher certainty of success, you hire someone who's done the experiments and has the systems that can help do a lot of those things that you would have to learn and then do at speed. It's probably the same answer as, somebody who thinks they're handy saying, "Hey, I can
Totally.
fix the water damage myself. Should I hire a restoration contractor?" I'm sure I can watch YouTube and figure it out.
Yep.
And of course, if you've been in a restoration any length of time, that's a lot of work. You do it incorrectly, you could get super sick. It could lead to further issues. It could be a way bigger problem later on. It's very similar with SEO. You can go down rabbit holes and think you're doing the right thing and be missing something so basic and not get the results. So if you have the time and the money to wait, a year or longer to see if your experiments pan out, then you should definitely do it yourself. If you, would like someone to kind of guide you through it, and then looking at a professional and at least entertaining the idea of hiring someone to help is going to be worth the squeeze. Because usually when you attain your rankings, you have it for years. So in terms of like that investment to the net income, net potential income that can be created by getting to the top of the listings, it's really a no-brainer. It's better than 10-1, especially, over the years.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yep.
I like to say that it's very similar. If you have the time to work on it right now, definitely do it. Write some content, start reaching out to other businesses and try to build some backlinks. It is time consuming. It takes a lot of time. And those foundational things are super easy to do. There's a lot of technical stuff and the little things that can matter a lot. We just had that. I have one friend who's isn't quite ready to start with us, but we've been helping them and working with them, but she just messed up her Google business profile by changing her address, and her rankings dropped out for the last month. Yeah, you gotta kind of play with it carefully and just make sure you're doing it right. But if you don't have the time and you want to make sure it's done right, hire a professional.
Yeah. Ashton, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What is your do you have a let's say your top 3 mantras for living in a happy life?
Or
one mantra for a happy life.
Yeah.
But definitely start your answer with my mantra for a happy life is.
Yeah. So my mantra makes me cry. So this is super hard. My mantra is on the wall back here. It's the to love in spite of all is the secret to greatness.
That's great, man.
Did I say it again?
No, you said it great.
Yeah, man. It is I feel like forgiveness and being able to forgive is something that is lacking a lot in today's world, and it is one of those things that smooths out the universe.
How'd you come up with that one as did you come across that one, or?
Gotta go, please. Go. Come back in 10, okay?
Hey, we're dads. That happens. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a quote I got a quote from reading some books at the end of in my high school, and I love it. I love it so much. So we got it printed out on a board up here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
I haven't memorized it. What's your mantra, Alec? What's your mantra for a happy life?
I don't know.
What? You throw me a hard ball and you're not prepared. Hit me. Come on. What's your mantra?
I mean, I don't know my mantra for a happy life. I think probably the big things that have been guiding principles has been just you got to give more than you think you do to have anything come back. Like it's always going to be, I think probably one of the big ones, it's not really a quote, but just a concept of exchange in abundance has been very, very helpful for me in business and my marriage and the relationship with my kids and Just try to give them, the experiences that just try to give them more than they expect. And it seems to smooth a lot of things over. There's a beautiful simplicity to that idea that I think just comes back around in spades. So
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of, I'm a huge fan of that. It's been a powerful idea for me.
Love it.
Yeah.
Sweet, dude.
All
Well,
right.
I think it was a pretty solid first podcast. Thanks for making the time. We'll see you again next month.
See you next month. We're doing it. No virtual background.
No virtual background. Hey yo.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
That's the move. See you, man.
Take it easy. Thanks all for listening. Have a good one.
Bye.